The Wichita State Shockers in their gold jerseys moving from left to right, and the Temple Owls in their gray uniforms moving from right to left. Picking up here, 41-33 for the Shockers. Miller at the top of the key. Dishes it over to Dunn. Dunn dribbling in now. Elbow jumper off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Walton. Walton now bringing it up the floor. Over to Rojas. Dishes out to Flanagan. Flanagan, top of the key, looking. Finds Rojas. Rojas over to Poto. Poto over to Flanagan. Dishes it out to Rojas for the three. Jourdain on him though. Rebounded by Hicks. Miller going the other way. Miller over to Jourdain. Wide open three. Unable to get that one to fall, but grabs his own rebound. Dishes it out to Miller. Miller now goes for the three and just buries that one. Great play there by Miller. 41-36 now for the Shockers.
See Heister Miller now shooting 2 for 3 from the field on the night.
A great little post up there, but unable to get that one to go from Rojas. Owls going the other way with it now. Miller on the left-hand side. Goes in, top of the key. Dishes out to Dunn. Dunn making his move. Back out to Miller. Can he go for 2 for 2? Off the back rim. Rebounded by Flanagan. Flanagan over to Poto. Poto over to Pierre. And Hicks picks up his second foul of the game.
Zach Hicks has been making some amazing plays this game, having 12 points of his own, shooting 5 for 6 from the field, 38%. And from the three-point line, he's gone 2 for 3. Not 38%, pardon me. That was a different stat.
Pierre Jr. now at the line, shooting 2. Gets the first one to fall.
When we look at Pierre Jr., that's going to be his 6th point of the evening. And so far, that's on his first free throw of the night as well.
And connects on the second. Shockers leading now, 43-36, 18-24 remaining. Miller now brings it over half court. Setting up the play, dishes it off to Dunn on the left. Back to Dunn, over to Miller. Miller draws baseline here. Looking, gets a nice little jumper to fall. Great little move there by Miller.
That's Miller's 13th point of this evening. He's, in my opinion, been the biggest factor so far for the Owls.
And a great blow-by Rojas there for the two-handed flush. Just completely outmaneuvers the Temple defense.
That's Rojas' 8th point of the night here, being a big factor in this first half, continuing the second half.
Dunn now looking, finds a wide open Jourdain for the two-handed slam. Great ball movement there for the Owls.
You see Temple is not afraid to respond with capitalizing plays of their own.
Owls playing a little bit more scrappy here to start the second half. Much tighter defense. I think McKee had something to say in the locker room. 45-40 here for the Shockers, 17-24 remaining, as Nick Jourdain will check out of the game, substituted by Jaleel White.
Jaleel White's probably going to come in here looking for his first points of the evening, going 0 for 1 from the field with no points so far tonight.
Pierre Jr. now dishes off to Poto at the top of the key. Over to Flanagan on the right elbow. Back over to Rojas. Rojas now working on White. Tries to back in off of his foot, and the shot clock expires as the Owls grab the rebound there. White now, top of the key. Tries to go in and is called with a charge.
That's going to be the Owls' 3rd foul of this half already. You got to watch the fouls, especially in a close game like this. Back and forth. You got a 5-point lead here for the opponent. If you're the Owls, you can't make mistakes like that.
Yeah, White trying to muscle his way into the lane, but great feet set there by Rojas. Inbounds it to Flanagan. Guarded by Miller. Quick dish out to Pierre Jr. Excuse me, to Walton. Draws the shot up there, but a foul.
That's going to be Wichita's first foul this half. And Wichita shooting so far 31% from the three-point arc. As long as they can keep connecting like that, it might be an easy victory for them this half.
Yeah, White now passes over to Miller on the right-hand side. Miller looking to set up the play, finds Dunn. Dunn over to Hicks. Hicks finding Miller there, top of the key. Back over to Hicks, who finds it wide open. Jaleel White dribbles it in and puts the two-handed flush. Great move there, going baseline and dunking it right around Rojas for his first 2 points of the game.
What a way to first open your scoring performance in a night. What a great dunk by Jaleel White there.
And Flanagan unable to connect there on the fadeaway two, picked up by White. 45-42 for the Shockers, 15:53 remaining. Dunn now off the pick from John Cooch, unable to get that one to go. His shooting woes continue.
White has definitely come into this second half with a much more aggressive approach, for better or for worse. So far, it's been for better.
Flanagan now at the top of the Temple logo. Over to Rojas, working on Hicks. Blows by him, unable to get it to fall. Picked up by John Cooch on the rebound. Miller, great little outlet pass to Dunn, who's fouled. He heads into the front row seats there.
Damian Dunn there seeking his 9th point of the evening. He couldn't get it to go, and we're going to go into our first media timeout here. So Jesse, we've seen a lot of loud plays here, and so far in this half, Jaleel White and Rojas going back and forth on dunks. Nick Jourdain joining in on the fun as well. Do you think this aggressive play style is going to pan out well this half?
Well, look, I mean, it suited the Owls so far. A much more aggressive out of the gates. I'm sure McKee told his players to be more aggressive in this one, clean it up. You know, turnovers were starting to become a problem there late in the first half. But again, able to kind of get it going here in the second half. Beautiful pass there from White, who was able to set up the play beautifully for the two-handed flush. Same thing with Jourdain. It's a little bit surprising still from Dunn, who hasn't been able to connect. 1 for 7 from the field so far tonight. So, you know, definitely going to look to improve that as the game progresses. But in battle, he's still scoreless in this one. Hasn't seen any playing time in the second half. I anticipate him checking in for the Owls here pretty soon.
Much like Jaleel White, I do also expect Caleb Battle to come in and capitalize a little more on his performance. And speaking of performances, we look at Zach Hicks and Heisier Miller combining for a total of 25 points here, and that'll make up more than half of Temple's points here this entire game. As we were talking earlier before the game even started, the biggest factor here for Temple to come out with a victory is their role players. And then we see Heisier Miller and Zach Hicks coming in, scoring bunches of points, and it's proven worthy here as Temple only trails by 3.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, Rojas, the Owls are going to have to pay attention to him because he's been able to blow by on a couple plays. Didn't connect there on that last layup, but he's done a fantastic job of really outsmarting this Temple defense. I don't know if he's seen the patterns of play, but he's been very good at getting around the Temple defense.
Heisier Miller, having played 21 minutes and scoring 13 points, 5 for 8 from the field.
Yeah, he's been especially good this second half, coming right out of the gates, nailing a 3, then getting a quick jumper to go. 5 of his points coming here in the second half.
Something that Temple has improved upon so far in the second half is their free throw shooting. Early on, as we saw this team struggle to maintain their leads of as much as 5, one of the biggest factors for why they couldn't maintain the leads is because they couldn't capitalize when they were presented easy points such as free throws.
Exactly, shooting 63% from the charity stripe as opposed to 85% from the Shockers. A big difference maker there, Andrew.
And that's exactly what free throws are. They're charity. As a team, you need to be able to make your free throws if you're going to expect to win games, let alone conference games.
Exactly. We are back here. Shockers up 45-42 with 15:24 remaining. Remember, Shockers wearing the gold uniforms going from right to left, from left to right, and the Owls in their gray uniforms going from right to left. Damian Dunn at the line here, shooting 2.
Something about Damian Dunn that we've mentioned already this half, his only points this game from the field have been a 2-point mid-range shot. Most of his points coming from the line here as he shoots 2 more.
No good there from Dunn on the first one.
Damian Dunn here with another free throw could reach 8 here, which would near his point per game total during this three-game losing streak of 9.
And he is able to drill the second one, cutting the Shockers lead down to 2. 45-43 for the Shockers. 15-20 remaining. Flanagan, top of the key, guarded by Miller. Over to Poto. Passes it over to Rojas. Gets the quick pass over to Pierre. Little lay-in there from Poto, unable to fall. Rebounded by the Owls, going the other way. Dunn now. Transition, looks to lay it in. Draws the foul. Dunn's done a great job of drawing the foul, though, if there is a positive to take away from this game so far.
I was just going to say that, actually, is that Damian Dunn, you know, you look, as we've been saying all game, we've been talking about how he's been shooting free throws a lot rather than making field goals. Honestly, when I look at this happening, it seriously could just be there's a possibility that Damian Dunn knows he's in a shooting slump and just he knows he needs to get these points, so he's going in a different direction with it, getting to the free throw
Miller
line.
inbounds it in there to John Cooch. Great little inbounds play from the Owls. John Cooch there for 2.
First points on the night for John Cooch.
A quiet performance from him thus far, but able to get on the board. Porter Jr. now drawing some space. Pass it over to Rojas. Rojas over to Pierre Jr. Brings it in, passes it to Poto, top of the key. Over to Porter Jr. Double team. Rojas, the quick pass into Poto for the lay-in. Beautiful little give and go between Rojas and Poto. 47-45 for the Shockers, 14-11 remaining. White now passes it up top of the key to Dunn. Dunn gets it into John Cooch for the easy lay-in. Great little pass there inside from Dunn to John Cooch. Tie game here, 47 apiece. Rojas now into Poto. Posting up on John Cooch. Dishes it over. Dunn on him now. Looks for the double team. Wide open from Bell, who buries the 3 there. Xavier Bell, the sophomore guard, drills his first 3 of the game. Dunn now, top of the key. Passes it over to Hicks. Hicks over to Miller. Dunn now, pump fake, draws in. Poor shot selection there, airballs it. Rojas, outlet pass to Bell. Bell draws the foul. The shot won't go. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
One of the most important factors going into the second half for the Owls has been the performance of their role players. Not only just the second half, but the entire game. We had Temple had a lot of players going into this half that weren't doing too great, such as Jalil White, John Cooch. And Jalil White comes in, immediately makes a highlight dunk, gets the energy going in the stadium. John Cooch has scored 4 in the last few possessions, and Temple's been sticking with this.
Yeah, as we see some substitutions here for the Owls. Battle checking in for Dunn, and Reynolds coming in for John Cooch.
You see Coach McKee making a decision on Damian Dunn's play style tonight. You might want to preserve his energy for later because Dunn is quite the clutch player. And as we see this back and forth game, you're probably going to need somebody like him late in the game.
Yeah, a little surprising, though, not to see Dunn and Battle on the floor at the same time as they head over to McKee here for some instructions. Looks like a quick timeout here.
To be fair on Coach McKee's judgment here of not playing Dunn and Caleb Battle together, Damian Dunn has only scored 2 points here from the field. Caleb Battle has no points on the entire night. If you run them together And I'm not making a statement on their play all season because they've been phenomenal, but if you run them together tonight, that could prove to be pretty fatal considering how back and forth this game has been.
Yeah. It just goes to show how well the role players have stepped up this evening. And talking about a Hicks who's been quiet in the second half, but Miller really picking it up there, 13 points, and Reynolds kind of getting on the board there as well. All right, Bell here now from the free throw line, 51-47 for the Shockers. Makes the first one.
Xavier Bell has been quite efficient tonight. When you look at his shooting percentages, he's gone 1 for 2 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line.
And it looks like there was a little bit of miscommunication there between the refs. He was going to go for a third free throw, and the band instructor had to kind of put his foot down there and say, hey, no, he's already shot 2. 52-47 now for the Shockers. 12:58 remaining. Hicks on the left elbow. Shoots it over Porter Jr. Doesn't get it to go. Rebounded by Bell. Bell going the other way with it now. Over to Porter Jr. Porter Jr. picked off by Reynolds with the steal. Reynolds trying to go all the way and goes coast to coast for the lay-in. The big man gets the steal and finishes off with a right-handed layup.
You know what that looked like there? That looked like a linebacker or a defensive lineman taking it all the way to the end zone right there.
It felt like a Shaq breakaway. Pono now guarded here. Bell open for 3, unable to get that one to go. Rebounded by, looks like it was last touch on the Owls, and the Owl faithful not pleased with that call. Wichita State will inbound the ball here. 52-49 for the Shockers, 12:06 remaining. We're reviewing the play here, but it will indeed stay Shocker basketball. Gets the inbound play here to Porter Jr. Porter Jr. now working, finds Bell, who puts the teardrop in, overdone. Great play there from Bell. Miller now bringing it up the court. Over into Hicks. Reynolds looking over Pono, trying to seize up and loses it. Sloppy play there from the big man. Porter Jr. now going the other way with it. Dishes it up to Rojas on the left wing. Ooh, went for the alley-oop, but it hits the rim instead. Dunn able to grab the rebound. And Dunn just misconnects with Battle. Kind of sums up the night for those two. Unable to connect there and find the chemistry.
Some very sloppy basketball in the last couple plays here. Poto would have needed to have been a foot taller to catch that alley-oop, and as we mentioned before, Dunn and Battle together, that could have been proven to be detrimental, and right there in this play it did.
Yeah, exactly. The Owls still maintaining only a 5-point deficit here, but, you know, Dunn and Battle just silent in this second half.
You know, when you watch Temple basketball, a lot of this season, Temple has relied heavily on Caleb Battle and Damian Dunn to get it done for him, as we mentioned before, carrying this team. And then when you have them not performing to their highest standard, you usually expect Temple to face quite a hefty loss. But as we look here, Temple's only trailing by 5 points here with about half of the second half remaining.
Yeah, I think a good testament to what Isaiah Miller's been able to do with Zach Hicks. Jameel Reynolds also getting in on the action. I mean, 13 points, 12 and 8 respectively there between those 3 players who have really kept the Owls afloat. I mean, this could have been a lot uglier had they not stepped up to play. But we're also seeing some different players getting in. Bell has really stepped up for the Shockers here in the second half. You know, all 7 of his points coming in the second half.
What an efficient night for Bell, as we previously mentioned. Shooting 50% from the field, 50% from 3, 100% from the free throw line. Efficiency doesn't get much better than that.
No, exactly, and he's really done a good job of drawing up the right plays. I mean, I'd like to see that shot selection on behalf of the Owls, because Bell has been able to draw up nice plays, getting good looks, open 3, then second play there with a little teardrop floater. those are the kind of shots that I'd like to see Battle taking.
And as we were just saying with shot selection, Bell didn't even start this game, didn't even check in until late in the first half. And when it comes to just having good shot selection, when you can make that happen on the court, you don't need to have the skill set of one Caleb Battle or Damian Dunn. As long as you have a complete full grasp of the game and your opponent, you can really do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I anticipate the Shockers to kind of maintain pressure here as we enter the latter part of this second half. Unable to get much to fall here. I mean, save Bell, Rojas has not been doing as much of a role play there on the left-hand side.
And as we've been talking all game about, is the importance of Temple's role players tonight. Jalil White's one of Temple's biggest role players. So far, he has 4 fouls already on the evening and only 2 points.
Yeah, some serious foul trouble there from the Owls. And we'll see if now going with the Dunn Battle duo here, checking in for the first time in this second half, seeing them play together. We feel like we have the true Owls starting lineup out there. We'll see what they're able to do with it. Inbounded here by Porter Jr. Sizing up Miller. Pass it over here. Bell, the Shockers going from left to right. Bell passes it into Rojas. Quick little pass there inside to poor Bear Chandler for an easy 2. Great little swing pass there from Rojas over to poor Bear Chandler, who gets his first 2 of the, second basket of the game. Done now, over to Jordan, top of the key. Jordan backs up, tries to spin in. Layup unable to go there. Wichita State going the other way. Porter Jr. now, working on Miller. Over to Bell on the right-hand side. Rojas tries to go inside. Miller tries to pick it up. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Owls. It will stay Shocker basketball. And a foul was called on Isaiah Miller.
You see, Temple has been making a lot of little mistakes there, such as getting too involved as players are falling out of bounds, just keeping the ball in their opponent's hands. And if they want to win a close game like this, they're going to need to not make mistakes like that.
Pass there to Bear Chandler. Goes off. Porter Jr. unable to get it to go, but gets his own rebound. Passes into a wide open Rojas, who goes in. Side, and looks like Reynolds is called for a foul there. Seemed like an aggressive move there from Rojas, who was kind of getting excited for a tomahawk dunk, but Reynolds had his feet set up there and is called for the foul.
It's not a good look for a team when they record 7 fouls right before the half has even concluded. Temple now with 7 fouls.
Yeah, the Shockers leading this one 56-49 with just over 10 minutes remaining now in the second half. Rojas going to the line for 2. Makes the first one. And the Owls will make a pair of substitutions here. Reynolds goes to the bench. John Cooch checks in, and Battle will also check out of the game with Jalil White.
Battle has been given a lot of opportunities to make it happen, still with nothing so far.
Excuse me, that'll be Zach Hicks checking in for Caleb Battle. Isaiah Miller dishes it over to Dunn now. 58-49 for the Shockers. 10 minutes remaining in this one. Isaiah Miller over to Dunn. Back to Miller. Top of the key. Left elbow now. Dunn backs over to Jourdain. Open 3 look. Buries that one. Great look there from Nick Jourdain, who can get it to fall from 3-point range. Narrows the deficit to 6. Porter Jr. now looks to respond with a 3 of his own. Doesn't get it to go. Rebounded by Hicks. Miller now back over to Hicks, who tries a 3 of his own and nails it. Great 3-ball there from Hicks. 3-point lead for the Shockers there, following a pair of 3s from the Owls.
What have we been saying all evening? Role players, role players, role players. Hicks and Jourdain not allowing Wichita State to run away with this one, cutting such a lead to only 3.
And we got Rojas now trying to put on the moves on Jourdain, flailing a little bit, gets it over to Walton, who misses the 3 ball. Rebounded by John Kuju, a little fumble there, but they're able to maintain possession. Miller now enters the Owls half. Tries to go in for the layup, gets fouled. And I believe the foul will be called on poor Bear Chandler.
Miller has been a little quiet this half. He finished the first half with 13, still sitting at 13 points right now, looking to up his point total to 15 here at the charity stripe.
I believe 5 of Miller's points coming in the second half, kind of giving that initial spark to the Owls. That has been quiet in the last few minutes. 58-55 for the Shockers, 8:47 remaining. Miller at the line now. Makes the first. And the Shockers making some substitutions now. Rojas and Bear Chandler will check out of the game. Isaac Abidi now back in. Miller unable to connect with the second one, rebounded by Porter Jr. And the Shockers call a timeout here. 58-56 for Wichita State with 8:40 remaining. Andrew, what have you seen here in the last couple minutes?
Well, around the 10:30 mark, something that we both touched on was Temple's foul trouble, sitting with 7 fouls already this half. And ever since we said that, 2 minutes later, not a single foul recorded since. Wichita State, however, has recorded a foul or 2 since that mark. And as we've seen all game, these two teams will struggle with certain things, but they almost flip-flop with the things they struggle with. The role players here, as we previously mentioned, are stepping up in a huge way for Temple University, cutting this lead to just 2.
Yeah, one thing that stands out to me, Andrew, are the free throws. Wichita State shooting 90% from the free throw line, and the Owls 60%. You know, that's 9 of 15 from the charity stripe, and I think that's been a little bit of a difference maker here when you say that they're down by 2 points. You know, at the end of the game, you know, still plenty of time left in this ball game, but definitely look to convert on those free throws as they move down the stretch. Dunn, still quiet, 1 of 8 from the field. Battle, 0 for 4. It's really been the role players keeping them in this one. Isaiah Miller, 14 points. Zach Hicks, 15. And Jameel Reynolds, 8 points on the game.
The big question here to ask for the Owls is, even though these role players have stepped up in a huge way, are they going to be able to continue to step up for the Owls and close this one out with an in-conference victory for the Owls here?
Exactly. I mean, this one is crucial for the Owls. I mean, 3-game losing streak. They're back here at home against a tough Wichita State team, but a manageable win. I mean, on paper, the Owls should win this game. Now, they haven't played them in 2 years, so there is sort of the nerves there of, you know, seeing a team for the first time in a couple seasons, but definitely a winnable game for the Owls thus far. And it comes down to right now, you know, how are they able to respond in these closing minutes of the basketball game?
Now we have just over 8.5 minutes left here. A big part of this clutch performance that the Temple Owls are going to need is a big performance late in the game by Damian Dunn and or Caleb Battle. You really need your star players to shine here in moments like this if you want to pull away with a victory, while yes, our role players have done a great job, you need more than just role players to win a basketball game.
Exactly, but I mean, Andrew, this could be the moment where other players sort of make a name for themselves. Why not this be the breakout game for Zach Hicks or for Jameel Reynolds or for Isaiah Miller? I mean, obviously, still phenomenal role players for the Owls and have proven themselves all season long, but this could really be an opportunity to provide that spark. Hey, if Dunn and Battle aren't going to pick it up, we will. We have their backs, and that's what this Owls basketball team should be about.
Look at this current lineup here for Temple as we start up after the timeout. We've got a few scoring slumps here as we see John Cooch, Jourdain, and Damian Dunn on the floor at the same time, field goal wise.